Why is the Morrison-Joyce government not asking businesses to repay the $13 billion in JobKeeper payments they pocketed while their revenue rose, but is sending threatening letters to Sydney and Melbourne families in lockdown demanding they pay back historic childcare subsidies? Why are the Treasurer's priorities so wrong?
The Treasurer has the call.
Mr Speaker, the member for Fenner wants to make lawbreakers out of businesses that receive JobKeeper, Mr Speaker, because when businesses received JobKeeper, they did so in accordance with the law, namely that there was an anticipated decline in their turnover, Mr Speaker. Now, the member for Fenner doesn't ask me about Labor Association services or the $22 million that apparently went to unions and other associated entities. Mr Speaker, the reality is JobKeeper was a remarkable program. They're not my words, they're the words of the Governor of the Reserve Bank. And indeed, the program saved 700,000 plus jobs, and it's been a key part of our economic recovery. Let me remind the honourable members opposite what the Australian economy was looking like when JobKeeper was announced. The unemployment rate Treasury thought could reach as high as 15%. We could see up to 2 million Australians unemployed, Mr Speaker. We were literally standing on the edge of the economic abyss. We saw JobKeeper come in and immediately it stemmed the tide of job losses, and we saw 9 consecutive weeks of increases in consumer and business confidence, Mr Speaker. We saw increases in confidence as a result of JobKeeper, and we have seen the unemployment rate get now down to a 12-year low of 4.6%, Mr Speaker. 4.6% compared to when Labor was last in office, when the unemployment rate was 5.7%. Now, Mr Speaker, JobKeeper has been a key part of our economic recovery. And according to Treasury, in the review that they undertook, it was well targeted. It was well targeted because we saw in the month of April, we saw an average decline of 37% in JobKeeper businesses. And we know that small businesses right across the country have relied on JobKeeper to stay in business. Now, those opposite are seeking to attack those small businesses that receive JobKeeper. Those opposite are now seeking to have their important, confidential, private taxpayers' details revealed publicly, Mr Speaker. And we know what the industry groups have said about that. And I repeat to the House, the Australian Hotels Association said Labor's tactic is a dangerous political stunt. The Australian Industry Group said Labor's tactic is misguided and a dangerous precedent. The Australian Chamber of Commerce has called Labor's tactic a desperate attempt to smear, and COSBOA have said of Labor's tactic it's pursued for pure political gain. You cannot trust the Labor Party. You cannot trust the Labor Party.
The Treasurer's time has concluded.